Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not. I'm Aunt.
And I'm Andrew. And I got a question for you. Do you think I should do Botox?
That's the first thing I was going to say.
Oh, gosh.
The first thing I was going to say was, should Andy get Botox? And Andy could be you. So
I couldn't believe it. Like, what a stupid line, Andy. Yes, you should get Botox to look at all your friends. Like,
yeah, but I don't know about that. You know, Botox isn't for everyone. You have to be a certain person to have Botox. We haven't decided. Hey, everybody out there, tell us what you think. Should Andy Cohen get Botox?
Well, I think he should, but I also have to tell you, didn't you think
I don't think he needs
that Polly's mom looks a little bit like your Aunt Mary Lane?
Oh, we should do a picture of Mary.
We'll have to do a side-by-side on next Andrew, because they really, when they made the look.
I do think it's interesting that, well, we know Billy Aiden gets Botox, as he should. He's a plastic surgeon. Yeah. And Polly gets it, and Joe Gorga gets it, and Frank gets it, and Louie, and I think Fuda's getting it now too.
I don't think he's old enough. He doesn't need it, and neither does.
Old enough. You only have to be over 18.
You know who's not getting anything yet? The Adonis.
Oh,
Danielle's husband.
Yeah, there you go. I love Danielle, and you know what? She just proved that she's so good compared to now that some other housewife shows have come back. She's just so good for her first season.
Oh yeah,
and I'm gonna say I thought Fuda came on really, really strong. First of all, if you're really connected, you never mention it.
No. Listen, I have a comment on him.
But I want to say, I think he came on really strong. And the reason he came on strong is because he knows his wife is boring AF and he wants to be invited back next year. That's my opinion.
Well, she owes him, sorry, Jackie Goldie, a few blowies because he got her a second season.
Fuda did it. Yeah, yes. Fuda is the one who wants it by far.
The fact that he, like what I noticed about him, that for me, and we'll skip ahead because it is really iconic.
And he had liposuction, so he wants to show it off.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she said that, but I'll tell you what really struck me is that they started talking to Louie. I think it was about little Frankie. And we'll get there because I have opinions there.
I do
very strong ones. Joe Gorga, you asswipe.
Totally.
But we'll get there. What I think that I liked about John Fuda was that story ended, or that piece ended about Frankie and the job, and then all of a sudden John Fuda's just out of nowhere. I get a question, Andy.
Oh yeah.
I like that. That's why I don't think he's lying because.
Oh, I thought it was so planned. They were just waiting for him to pounce and they were all backing him up. No, I thought just the opposite. They had told him what to do. He's part of the Gorga army. They're all on that side. Frank shouldn't be over on the other side. Technically, he's with Dolores. What's he doing over beside Gorga? Oh, he's in the army. They're in the army. I lost all respect for Joe Gorga in this episode.
When he called Louie a woman abuser,
yes,
he lost me forever because he knows, being on TV for half a dozen, 8 years, whatever, and you know what? Louie let it bounce off of him, but at the same time and he's also had some of that stuff already out in the press, so it's like whatever. Right. That is something that at times could be so character ruining.
Assassination.
And Joe Gorga knows that.
For sure. And he does have an army, which I can't stand, and he wouldn't let up on knowing the truth about Frankie Jr. And even Dolores was like, "Shut it down.
I've never had an issue with you before
about my kid." And he wouldn't let it go because he thought he had info. And the same with Margaret, who seemed very upset that her portfolio never came out because she had it behind her. Sorry. I don't think that you should go to a housewife reunion with a manila envelope behind your back.
I think it needs to be a binder, like Real Housewives of Potomac, when she brought a 16-file organized binder with each person's name, evidence. Andy said it was iconic, but I'll say this. Joe Gorga
has an army. You could see the army.
Well, Margaret listen, Margaret was a loser this episode. She had nothing. They kept her quiet.
Nothing.
She barely had any sound bites at all.
Yeah.
John Fuda. Let me tell you something. I've really been on top of Bo Dietl over the past 48 hours. I've read everything.
know, but I am. Bo Dietl got nothing. Has nothing.
No. But it's part of the story. It's part of the story.
I know, but Bo Dietl has nothing good to say about Joe Gorga, and I
sent you the stuff.
This is what I believe, that Fuda was planned and plotted.
I just that's what I want to say, but you keep jumping in.
I know what it was.
Bo Dietl. I have a feeling that Louie is friends with Bo Dietl.
Yeah, so what?
And that, like, because the whole time Teresa goes, do you have any evidence? Come on, we can read this like a book. Let's read it like we did. They were sitting around the table. They probably had him over for dinner because they're friends. And then he probably said, I can look up stuff on all of them. And then Teresa probably said, because I do believe if you look at the Melissa cheating story, the Bo Dietl thing, I think Teresa has kept her hands clean the whole season. And I think that there's two reasons. One, she knows she hasn't maliciously done anything, so she wants evidence, and she wants this and she wants that, which basically, like, that just shows that, like, you're never going to catch me, but, like, I might have done it. I mean, let's just call it what it was.
Yeah, but you know what?
No, let me finish.
I'm going to let you finish.
But what I also think is that Louie, I think, said to Bo Dietl, like, well, you can do whatever you want. And that's why they keep saying we didn't have anyone investigated. But Bo Dietl probably did look into all of them. If his friend's going on a show, also look into Bo Dietl. You're going to find out two more things. He was an excellent, beyond excellent police officer. And read the article in New York Magazine from
right. He was one of the top detectives ever.
He solved, like, this big nun rape trial. It was massive. And a murder, the Palm Sunday murders in Brooklyn. In Harlem. He figured that out. So whatever. But I'll tell you, it also says on the Wikipedia, TV actor, want to be a celebrity. He was in The Irishman. So come on, let's call it what it is. Bo Dietl probably loves his 15 minutes on The Real Housewives.
And well, maybe he's trying to get on the show too.
Maybe he's also trying to get more people to call his office to get more PIs work done.
Yeah, maybe, but that's okay.
Listen,
there's nothing wrong with that.
We both know plenty of people in service businesses like that. If we want a show like that, of course we want to go on and be like, oh, come do your lawyer work with me, do your taxes with me, do this with me. Of course,
I don't have a problem with that.
So Louie probably like, I want to promote my.
I think he's probably well connected too.
Oh, he is. I wrote the article. If you really read that article.
Yeah, I did. He goes to RHONJ and everything.
He goes to RHONJ. He had a table at RHONJ. If you read more, he auctioned off his table for a charity auction for a children's hospital for one night and then reneged on it after the people gave a donation. So he's kind of also a little bit of a thug. I think he knows he's Bo Dietl. It's just funny to me when you read this story. Bo Dietl is not to be messed with. And when you listen to Bo Dietl on a podcast like yesterday,
he's legit
screaming at Joe Gorga.
Yeah, did he call him the M word?
All he said was Joey. He called him Joe. He talked about him like he knew him.
He called him a little man.
Man.
Yeah, little man, because he is. I think Bo Dietl is a big guy.
But Joe and Tree need to chill the fuck out. And I'm going to tell you why. That reunion was painful to watch at times. Joe Gorga is sitting there, and I think there were times he was genuine, and I think there were times that he was being a little bitch.
Yes,
and then with Teresa, I think there were times that she was genuine, and then at times that she was being a nasty bitch, like too bitchy, like not cool. Like, I was like, if they just would like coexist, right?
Yes, but there was one problem here, and that is little Missy. Missy is the problem. Missy in her soul wants to be number one.
And that's why they can't chill.
Yeah, they just won't, because Missy will never be happy being second fiddle to Tree. She has felt second fiddle to Tree in the Gorga family forever. And
why can't she just say it?
Will.
Why can't she just say, Teresa, listen, you're my husband's sister. You're the big sister. He looks up to you, as you said. I wanted to be on the show with you. I wanted to like be the sister-in-law. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know I'll never be you on the show. You're Teresa
but she
Giudice.
Can't help herself.
She can't. She's
on
display.
And she's on display. And Tree and Joe were fine until Melissa started interjecting things. And even when Louie went over to shake their hands, she was like, "Oh, I'm nervous. Oh, I'm nervous. Oh, I'm nervous." She makes drama. She's very manipulative. And people think Teresa's manipulative. Teresa's not that smart.
She's not at all
that manipulative.
She doesn't think that far.
She can't plot and plan, but I'll tell you, Melissa with Marge and Jackie are very smart, manipulative women. And that's why I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouths at all. And I believe 100% that Gia said to Uncle Joe, Zio Joe, she probably said, you can do better, meaning you can come to the wedding, like they said. I don't think she meant
may have also said
context.
You and Melissa can do better, or you can do better. Auntie Melissa can do better. And
right.
did he take that as you can do better?
You can do better. That doesn't mean Melissa. They put it in that context because they want to perpetuate that stupid little storyline of theirs.
Maybe Gia also said Auntie Melissa can do better too. Like you all can be better people to come to this freaking wedding.
Be better. Maybe she said we all can be better. Maybe, you can be better. I think that was taken way. And I thought Joe was a horrible uncle for bringing Gia up to begin with. I thought it was just terrible, deplorable.
He didn't.
Huh?
He didn't. Andy asked the question to Joe and said, Teresa told you that you can do better with Melissa. Then Jennifer Aiden jumped in and said, Teresa didn't say that. Gia said that. Right. And then Teresa, then Andy said, oh, Gia said that to you. And then Joe said that. So he didn't bring it up at all.
I know, but he should have said, I'm not talking about my niece.
That's true, but I agree with that.
He should have said, I'm not talking about my niece, period. I don't want her talking about my daughter. I'm not talking about my niece, just like we shouldn't be talking about Frankie Jr.
A couple more things that are funny. What do you think happened with little Frank and Louie?
Louie's company went out of business, and he told them in 5 seconds that he didn't have a job and that he probably never paid his Social Security or anything, and Frankie couldn't get unemployment. That's what
probably something like that. But I don't think he told him 5 minutes. I think that he was probably embarrassed that the company went under, or they sold the company or whatever. And so like, he probably just didn't want to he didn't know how to communicate it. But then I bet that you're right about that with the second.
Yeah, that's what I think it was, that there was nothing there. You know what I mean?
A couple things I loved.
I also want to tell you, I read this week, the GORGA'S have a lot of bills.
Mm-hmm.
There was an Instagram post where she's outside in front of her grill, and the people who she got the grill from wrote under her Instagram, I hope you're enjoying the grill. You still owe us $18,000 for it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I know. So,
I like Danielle when they're talking about the pizza oven. She goes, I want pizza.
I know they all wanted pizza. Yeah, but again, everybody just ate the pizza except for who? Melissa had to turn it into a sexual.
Teresa didn't have one either.
No.
Teresa didn't have one.
Melissa turned it into
Teresa
a whole sexual, oh, please. She's so manipulating. She doesn't stop. I actually didn't like her, and I like her less. So that's what I think at the end.
I love when Andy screams. I'm about to do that to you.
I'm just going to tell you that I didn't like the GORGA'S all season, and I like them less now.
I have another thing about them that's I think that you'll agree with me on. We keep talking about how Louie called and didn't ask, Melissa should come over too. Joe Gorga, you should have said, I'd like to bring Melissa too. Did you ask? Because we haven't heard that yet. Joey hasn't once said, I said I want to bring my wife, and you guys said don't.
Right. I think it was right for Louie to say, hey, I heard these rumors. I'd like to talk to you about them.
And I also think it was good
that he didn't have to bring Melissa over.
No, and Joey should have said, as her husband, I want to bring my wife over too.
Right. Or he should have said, I talked to my wife about it. Yeah, there's nothing to it. End of story. Not make it into a whole season.
If it was so important for them, if Melissa was Teresa's sister, I could understand why Melissa would be mad that her own sister wouldn't call her and her husband and would think that believes it. This is her brother. And
because that's all Melissa does is fan the flames.
And Louie wanted to address it too. Like Louie, I think, wanted to do it with Joe. I don't think Teresa really wanted to. I think Louie pushed for it and said, I'd like to talk to him about this, because he was trying to be a real brother-in-law, to be real with him. And then Teresa stayed Zippo out of it. Yeah. And because the GORGA'S aren't used to Teresa being influenced by someone who, as much as he doesn't get the best edit sometimes, I think I've said this on this pod, Louie is like me. we babble a lot. We're not good for reality TV because we are good, but the show would be too long because we talk too much. So when you edit it down, it's like, that's not.
Not only that, I think Louie is constantly trying to control the situation, no matter what it is. And he's very introspective, and he's realizing as it's going on that he needs to correct how he's being perceived. He very
laughs.
good at the manipulation too.
He laughs throughout the reunion. They all do. The only person that doesn't laugh, even when someone they hate, no,
Fuda.
they all laugh too. The only person in the whole cast, male, female, that didn't laugh, even when someone that they hate made the joke, is Teresa Giudice.
Oh,
she
yeah,
had a resting bitch face.
Yeah, she did. Good for her.
Time.
I don't blame her.
Loved it.
I loved it too. And I love her glam squad all around her. I love that Andy went and took care of her and make sure that Teresa's okay. That
I
tells you everything.
I have that written down.
And he went and he made sure, I got to run back to Tree and make sure he yelled at them. I thought it was
I'm sorry I yelled at you. I liked that. That showed his allegiance to Teresa Giudice.
Yes. And not only that, but I thought it was interesting that we never really heard from Bill. We never really heard from Paulie. We never heard from
the Adonis.
Danielle's husband. We heard minimal from Joby, and we did hear from Fuda. We heard from Frank, but we didn't hear from the rest of the guys. They really had nothing.
I think Joe Gorga was genuine at the end when he said, I
would be there in a minute for you if you died or something. Yeah. I believe that, but I also like what she said. And she said, honor me when I'm alive, not when I'm dead. And I like that too.
I liked that, but at the same time,
yeah, don't waste the tears when I'm dead. If you're not decent to me when I'm alive, I don't want your tears when I'm dead. Just move
I
on.
agree with that, but they're also saying they don't want anything to do with them. So she said that.
Yeah, and you know what? He'd be the one crying the hardest at the funeral.
Okay, but you're not. I get that, but you're not thinking about it straight.
He would.
She says, "I want it over."
Yeah, I don't blame her.
So he was saying, so why? So why is he going to honor her now? She wants it over.
Yeah, so I understand her, but I get what Teresa was saying. Like, don't tell me that you'd be there for me if I had an accident. Like, be nice to me before the accident.
He wants to right now. She's the one that's done.
Something tragic shouldn't have to happen before you're nice to someone.
I'm not
it's
saying
the tragedy that makes you realize that you should.
You're reading into this way too much.
Joe Gorga would only show up at the hospital if something happened to Teresa, because otherwise he'd be ripped over the coals.
Okay, listen.
He didn't.
You're not thinking about this. They're done. They don't have a relationship.
They're over. They're over
okay,
until one of them dies, and the other one shows up at their funeral.
Well, did you take what James Kennedy took before the reunion tonight?
Ooh, James Kennedy.
So when Joe was saying, I have to tell you, I don't agree with anything else he said all night, but that was what I agreed. He goes, so, okay, listen, I never say never, but I've already acknowledged that they're done for now.
Right.
So when he said, if you got into a car accident tomorrow, you can't say, be nice to him today. Be nice to her today. They're done.
I get it. They're done. They're done.
So what he's saying is that he would be there, even them being done.
Yes,
if she needed him. Now, if she wanted to love him, I'm sure he'd be there for her to love him too. All positive and happy. But you don't need someone, when you're done with someone, you don't say, hey, come over, I want to give you a hug. No, you say, I just got into a car accident, I need help.
Right. Well, you know what I think? As we wrap up this amazing season of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, that it should be very interesting what happens next year, because we have
they're all coming back.
You think so? Well, that
100%.
will make it easy. Well, that's what's going to make it interesting too.
I will say this, that I did believe, I also have to say that I would do what Joe Gorga said about my own estranged family members, for those out there that might be listening. If you got into a car accident tomorrow, I'd be there to help. So I'll say that, but I think they're all coming back. Drama equals ratings, ratings equals money. And from what we read about them all, they all need money because they're all broke, except Jennifer.
Yeah.
And Dolores.
Yeah. You're right. All right. Well, it was a great season though.
Yeah, it was a great season of Jersey. I don't think we'll do the secrets revealed because there was only really,
No, they can't reveal that many secrets. If you want to keep up on what's happening on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, follow them on Instagram. They let you know everything that's going on in their lives 24/7, especially Miss J. Jen Aiden. The daughter had her birthday. Is it not Olivia? What's the other one's name?
I don't know. She's
The
irrelevant.
older one. She had her 16th birthday, and they had a really nice party for her.
Whatever her name is.
No, her name is the 16-year-old.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she had her 16th.
The one who was bullied.
Yeah, she had her sweet 16 this week. We've got Antonia's graduating from high school, and Gabriella is graduating from high school.
That's okay, but we don't care about
And
that.
just follow them on Instagram, and we'll see you again next season with.
And also, but you can also
Housewives
listen
of
to
New Jersey.
You can also listen to our next podcast about the other shows on Bravo, because that's what we want as well.
Yeah. We're doing that, but I'm
year.
just saying, if you want to follow them on Jersey, follow them on Instagram.
And follow us. Have a nice night.
Love ya.